Well, they're some of the most spectacular scenes in the world, but getting to them can be fraught with danger. Australian adventure photographer Simon Carter has been scaling rockscapes and clambering up sheer drops for over 25 years, holding his life in one hand and while the other captures breathtaking images. The self-confessed adrenaline junkie admits fighting to overcome his natural fear of heights every time he climbs has helped to keep him safe in pursuit of his sport. He's climbed some of the most recognised challenges in the world at 18 countries and documented them with his camera. And he joins us now. Simon Carter, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Andrew.
How most climbers, obviously, well, all climbers need two hands to climb.
Yeah.
You're using a camera. How do you do it with obviously holding one hand with the camera and another hand trying to hold on to the cliff?
Yeah, well, no, you can't do that, obviously. So often we climb around to the top of the cliff or something, and I set up an abseil rope, a static rope, and abseil down, and then I have these clamps that lock off onto the rope, and I can hang back and start to operate my camera and take photos of the climbers as they come up. So there's often a lot of rigging involved, getting the ropes in position so that I can be in a stable position and safe. And yeah, that's half the work or 90% of the work is getting the ropes rigged properly.
And having said that, you have a fear of climbing, or is it a fear of heights?
I don't have a fear of heights so much. I mean, I think we've all naturally got a fear of heights, but if you're doing it a lot, you sort of overcome that. I have a fear of falling and dying, I guess, and so I'm very careful to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, I'm sure all climbers would have that sort of fear. I mean, they've obviously got to be safe in what they're doing, but you say you take those precautions, yet you get some spectacular results.
Yeah. I mean, half of the trick is to get into a really spectacular location, and the trick is to do that safely. So, yeah, I take my time to rig the ropes. And
we're just seeing some vision now. This is obviously in the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, that was near where I live in the Blue Mountains. And here I rigged a rope off the end of Hanging Rock there because I was trying to get an angle on this orange cliff. And by rigging the rope off to the opposite wall, I was able to pull out and get a perspective looking in on this beautiful orange rock face. And so I was ready for when the climbers came up. So it took about 3 days to rig the ropes to get all that sorted out.
What are some of the most spectacular mountains and areas that you've climbed?
Places like Yosemite in America, the Dolomites in Italy. There's a place called Saranora in Madagascar, 800-metre high granite domes. There's a very nice Greek island called Kalymnos that just has beautiful caves with stalactites dripping from the roof. Yeah, and that's one of the things I just love about climbing, is it just takes you to these beautiful locations, and sometimes they're a little bit random. They're not on the tourist map. You get a bit offbeat, and you get to these beautiful locations, and you get to spend time in this amazing sort of natural environment. And that's one of the things I love about it, trying to bring that into my photography and show that to people.
And what sort of reaction have you had from fellow climbers? They must be fairly stoked that you're actually documenting what they're doing.
Well, that's right. I think a lot of people are pretty happy to be photographed, or I feel a lot of support from the climbing community for what I'm doing. About 18 years ago, I was climbing full-time, just living in a tent, and just climbing, and my friends were really good rock climbers, and doing things like, almost Olympic athlete sort of standard with their climbing, and no one was taking photographs and documenting what they were doing. If it was a more mainstream sport, there would be, they'd have massive sponsorship deals and there'd be household names. So I'm pretty stoked to be able to capture some of their feats and show that to other people.
We just saw someone hanging off, just hanging by their fingertips. Was that your wife?
Could have been, yes.
She's obviously a climber as well.
Yeah, my wife, Monique Forestier, she's one of Australia's top female climbers, and she's pretty seriously into it and does some amazing things. And I do photograph Monique a lot because she's such a talent. But we travel together to a lot of these places, and she's so keen for what she's just got this passion for it. So yeah, we do a lot of our trips together, and yeah, she's a great model for me as well.
Okay, Simon Carter, thanks for coming in and sharing your work with us.
Thanks, Andrew. Pleasure.